Hello out there, you're watching a Roll for Crit preview for a quick playing new card game called Monsters and the Things That Destroy Them. And it is about monsters and the things that destroy them. This is a card game that plays with just 21 cards for 2 to 4 players and has players competing to try to get the highest points total from amongst the cards they have in their hand at the end of the game. And it's a quick playing, super simple, easy to teach game. So easy they say you can teach it in under a minute, maybe even 30 seconds. So we'll see how you do, Will, explaining it to everybody at home right now.
All right, here we go. So there are going to be cards with numbers. Your goal is to have the one with the highest combination value at the end of the game. Monsters usually have big numbers as well as cool effects that trigger as soon as you get them, while there are tactics cards, which the most part kill off or cancel the monsters. On your turn, you'll get to pick one card from the lineup. You'll have to make sure to say its name and number out loud, as this is a sort of a memory game and people want to try to have some idea of what you picked. So I would say 12 kaiju. I would then do the ability if it's a monster. Tactics, usually you do not. As they say during resolution, that's at the end. Once you pick the card, you will add it to your hand. If you have more than 3 cards in your hand, you will then discard down to 3, discarding them face down. You cannot change your discard order, as there are plenty of cards that interact with everyone's discard pile. You will then refill, and then it'll pass the next player's turn. You will keep going through this until this deck runs out and everyone has an equal number of turns. Then, after you look at your 3 cards in hand, you will choose 2 of them, discarding the rest. You will then, at the same time, everyone will reveal their highest number card, be it a tactic or a monster. Remember, many of the tactics will cancel out monsters, so be careful about what tactics other players chose. After they reveal their other card as well, you're going to look to see what monsters are still standing or tactics, add up the numbers, and see who has the largest value. Was that quick enough?
It was all right. I mean, for the sake of a video and clarity's sake, I think we took more time than you could just be like, draw a card, read it, next turn.
Yeah, that is true.
But this helps you get a better understanding.
This is also I did not prep for this at all, and your beautiful scripts for your head.
We don't prep for anything. It's all off the cuff here. But yeah, and you can see each of these monsters do have their own unique individual powers. For instance, just said you can't rearrange your discard pile. Well, the kaiju lets you rearrange your discard pile. That's because a number of these cards are going to allow you to maybe draw the top 1 or 2 cards of your discard pile, and you'll always need to discard down to 3 at the end of your turn, but that will give you more options as to what you can choose between. But that's not necessarily true even. There are some cards that actually increase your hand size at times. And all of these tactical cards, at least most of them, as we said, do cancel out 2 specific other monsters in the deck. There are a few that are a little bit different. For instance, there is the nuclear weapon card, which cancels the most powerful monster remaining at the end of the game after all other cancellations have taken effect. And then there's Super Serum, which says that if your other card that you've chosen at the end is a monster and it didn't get canceled, you get to double your score. So maybe you really want to bank and hope that maybe you have this nuclear weapon card in your discard pile. Maybe you have the military force card yourself, so you're not worried about kaiju getting canceled. You might team these guys up together and have a total of 24 points, which would be a lot. Or you might, think that's too risky. Maybe you have another high-scoring monster card. Maybe you're afraid. Maybe you saw somebody else take this military force card already, so you don't want to play your kaiju because you think it's going to get canceled. So it's that kind of thing where it has all those different mind games that you can play. It very much is the Princess Bride sort of thing of, I'm going to do this, so you shouldn't do that, which means I should not do what I was going to do because you're not going to do it. Or whatever it is.
You will actually start with a card face down in your discard piles, so you won't have perfect information. And there are plenty of ways, as you can even see here, to play things or get things from your discard pile, so nothing's ever a guarantee. So that might help you. Like if you knew Military Strike, once again, is in your discard pile at the start of the game, that gives you a lot more information of how strong the kaiju and the ape, the 12 and 11, would be. Vice versa, if kaiju's in your discard pile, maybe you're not as worried about picking that up because you can just leave it there or get it later. So it's really about seeing how your opponents pick things, get the ones that maybe look at your cards or discard piles, and hopefully you have chosen your cards right be it going all in, as you said, with Kaiju and Super Serum, maybe having something like Mummy as a backup plan, and hopefully you'll be the one who wins. Now, this is a quick game with multiple sets. So this one is a bit of, I would say, generic monster theme, Mummy, werewolves,
Classic
Kaiju.
movie like your Universal monsters
Right.
and such.
But there are some other sets as well. There is one with the depths. That's a sea-based one. So you've got like Cthulhu there, but you've also got a Kraken and stuff. There's also going to be one based off of more modern movie monsters. So not copyrighted names of the robot or the alien. I think the clown. You can probably guess which movies we're going along there with.
Those could be like 18 movies, to be fair. There's
better.
There's a lot of robot and alien movies out there. Yes, some of those, all this stuff may not necessarily be fully complete. It might change by the time you see it on the Kickstarter versus what we have here. But a couple of examples, I had the depths here, the deep. It's actually called the deep. Some that I thought were pretty interesting. There's the siren, which is worth 6 points but can never be discarded. So you actually give it to someone else. So that could hurt someone because now they're forced to hang on to this 6-cost card unless they can find some way to get rid of it, but I don't think there is one. There's the white whale, which lets you actually swap your entire hand with your discard pile. You will have to then discard down, but maybe you have some interesting things in there. Do you want to get them and you don't really like what's in your hand? You can just use that and get a totally new one. So they add a lot of different sort of twists and flavors to it. So there's a lot of variety. There's a lot of different types of cards in there that you can, they come in one set and they work by themselves. There's no rule that says you can't mix and match them together, so you could, if you wanted to, see how that would go. Definitely get pretty crazy. Yeah, a regular game goes up to 4 players, and yeah, if you have 3 or 4, there's definitely going to be more going on, more for you to have to try to deduce and decipher, as it's going to be harder to keep track of who does have that card in their discard pile. Does anybody? And that's the interesting thing I think about this too, is because you are going to go through the whole deck. All of these cards have an antidote, and someone's always going to have it, right? It might be in their discard pile, but at some point during the game, someone's going to see it. So there's never going to be a game where the kaiju is really too powerful because nobody draws its thing that can hurt it. Like 99% of the time, someone's going to have the chance to draw this card. So you're always going to have something that can offset something else, meaning there's not like some overpowered strategy or anything like that.
And of course, to mention, this art is adorable. I love, and of course, all the references and the fact that it's quick. As you can see, these are just small deck boxes behind us that you can barely tell. So this would be the perfect kind of quick game you can take around with you. And like I said, mix and match, or just if you're with a small meetup, which is in this time, very nice.
Yeah, if you like games like Love Letter, I think this is that sort of very fast deduction style, memory-based a little bit gameplay. Kind of reminded me also of Bullet, or the game that Bullet was based off of, but it's one of those very fast types of deduction games. Perfect little filler thing, or you could play multiple rounds, and maybe what we were thinking of is adding up your scores gin rummy style and see who can get the best score out of multiple rounds.
Let us know if you're interested in this and which sets you're going to get, whether it be one or multiple. This is a Kickstarter, so I think there's a discount if you get multiple. So let us know. There'll be a link to Kickstarter down below. And if there is a set maybe you think that they should make in addition to this. I know off the top of my head, I think maybe one that's more like crypto, Bigfoot and Cryptids, not crypto. Yeah. That's very, very different thing.
That's a different set.
Both really mysterious, and I don't fully understand.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment of both of those things. Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think about that. You can get them individually, like we said, or you get like a bigger, more robust game box if you get all 3 with this current project. It's called Monsters and the Things That Destroy Them, and it's available right now. Thank you for watching. This has been Roll for Crit. You know what would be great? If you liked this video and subscribed to our channel to stay tuned for more updates. You could also even go over to our Patreon page and support us there. We'll give you some really cool rewards in exchange for that. Or maybe you want to support us by buying some merch. You can check out our merch store where we are selling t-shirts with cool designs and other things too. Check it out.